Some of taxes are imposed on your individual income. They are income tax, which you pay to the national government, and residential tax, which you pay to the municipal office. The residential tax is imposed on your income and comprises of municipal tax and prefectural tax. Residential tax is to pay to your residing area's municipal office. This residential tax is used for many public services to keep and improve our living conditions. Therefore, paying residential tax is our obligation. Residential tax is levied on your income earned during the previous year, from January 1st to December 31st. To be precise, the year 2022's residential tax is levied on your income earned during the year of 2021, from January 1st to December 31st. Generally, you have to pay your residential tax to municipal office with which your address is registered as of January 1st that year. Even when you have moved to other municipality during the year, your obligation of paying residential tax lies in your former municipality. If you have just arrived Japan and have no idea as to what to do with tax payment, please come to the Municipal Tax Division. Because your liability depends on your date of entry, period of permitted stay, and your visa status. In case your income did not reach the taxation standard, you will be exempted from paying it. The criteria have to take such information as your age and family structure into consideration, so your income itself is not enough to tell whether you are exempted or not. For example, a person of age 20 or above has no family to support and the previous year's income was lower than 450,000 yen, then this person will be exempted from paying residential tax. For the calculation of your residential tax amount, you need to report your previous year's income to the municipal office. Make your income declaration during designated period each year. Declaration period is usually from mid-February to March 15th. However, if you have already filed a final income tax return at tax office or your employer has already submitted a salary payment report of yours to a municipal office, then you do not have to make declaration. In case you are a self-employed, or was a salaried worker though left the job during that year, or having 2 or more jobs therefore been paid by 2 or more employers, then you need to visit tax office yourself and file a final income tax return. Salary payment report is a report made by employer which reports the total amount of salary the employer have paid to each employee that year. Its content must be the same as in withholding salary slip. Every employer is supposed to issue this report. If you had no income in the previous year, do not forget to make your residential tax declaration with us. State your financial situation in a declaration form and submit it or send us during the designated period. In some procedures, submission of taxation certificate is required. For the issuance of taxation certificate, your residential tax declaration must have been done. Procedures on overdue declaration of your income and issuance of its certificate may take a week or so. For the prompt issuance of your taxation certificate, you had better make your residential tax declaration as soon as possible. Application for renewal of your visa status requires residential taxation certificate. In the certificate, the amount of residential tax you paid and your income are recorded. In case you have not made residential tax declaration, taxation certificate will not be issued. In case of overdue declaration, it takes at least a week before your taxation certificate is ready. Even if you did not have income in the previous year, do make declaration of income, otherwise, you will be charged higher fee than you should be when using paid public services. To avoid bearing such heavy burdens, you need to make income declaration within the fixed declaration period each year. In case you have dependents overseas, you need to prepare 2 more documents. One is certificate of relationship by blood and marriage, to prove that dependent is one of your family. This must be issued by the country in which the dependent lives, and the dependent's name, address, date of birth and relationship with you are recorded on it. Another is certificate of overseas remittance or credit card statement to prove your remittance to the dependent. These two documents must be translated into Japanese if they were written in your country's language. There are 3 ways to pay residential tax. First is via your employer. The employer pays your residential tax to each municipal office by deducting it from your monthly salary. In this method you pay your residential tax each month, from June to May, 12 payments per year. This method is called special collection from monthly salary. Second is for self-employed people and office workers whose employer does not make special collection from monthly salary arrangement for employees. In this case, each municipal office will send you a tax notice. Using this tax notice, you have to pay tax at a bank, post office, convenience store, or smartphone appless by the deadline. Payment by bank account transfer is also available. This method is called normal collection. Third is for pensioners aged 65 and above. Your residential tax is deducted from your pension by the municipal office at the time of your pension payment, which comes once in 2 months. This method is called special collection from pension. Required procedure is slightly different whether you leave Japan before June or after, because June is the month where your amount of residential tax is determined and we start sending tax notice to each taxpayers. If you leave Japan before June, the amount of your residential tax has not yet calculated, so you cannot receive tax notice. In that case, you will need to designate a tax payment administrator who will receive your tax notice and make tax payment on your behalf. Please ask municipal office tax counter when you need to designate one. If you leave Japan after June, you have probably received the year's tax notice and been informed the amount of residential tax you have to pay. In that case, you will need to pay the whole amount you are liable to pay that year, or if that is quite difficult, designate a tax payment administrator before your leave. This was the basics explanation of residential tax. When you have further questions, feel free to call on Municipal Tax Division.